Hello everyone, I'd like to introduce somebody to the stage. This is Joanne Eyston. Joanne is from Little Chefs, Big Chefs, and she's here to talk to us about reducing food waste. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having quite a pleasant day, but we'll see. But yes, I run an organisation, Little Chefs, Big Chefs, and we are here to talk about food waste and the impact on the environment and how our project helps to address that. So food waste, we all have a responsibility to address this, and this is the important thing in trying to reduce the impact on the environment. So before giving a few facts on food waste, I'll share how we got to the point of being aware and help to address this issue. So Little Chefs, Big Chefs was set up originally with the intent of educating all ages, particularly children, how to cook for better health. And as a non-profit organisation, we were offered the chance to collect surplus foods from a local supermarket. And as someone who's always been frugal about food and frustrated about the growing epidemic of waste, and I heard about Fair Share Neighbourly, I jumped at the chance to sign us up. And for anyone who hasn't heard of them, they're charities who work alongside food suppliers and supermarkets to distribute surplus foods to other non-profits in the company. And surplus foods are ones which can be the result of over-orders, they don't scan, they damage packaging, or those just past their best before days, still perfectly edible. So as these collections grew, I realised that food waste was a massive problem, not only from supermarkets but at home too. And upon researching and unearthing the gravitas of the impact of food waste on our environment, I became engrossed and shocked at something that many of us don't think about once it goes in the bin and how this can contribute to climate change. When we break down this impact, this brings up quite alarming figures. At least 1/3 of all edible food produced across the world is never eaten. That's 1.3 billion tonnes. That's enough to feed 2 billion people, just over a quarter of the world's population. It takes a landmass larger than China to grow the food each year that is ultimately never eaten. Not only does that result in unnecessary degradation of land, but clearing land for agricultural purposes is also a cause of deforestation, which eliminates wildlife habitats and wipes out greenhouse gas absorbing trees. So the estimated annual food waste arising in the UK, that's in households and commercial public sectors, is about 9.5 million tonnes, and that's got a value of £19 billion a year and will be associated with more than 25 million tonnes of greenhouse gas emissions. In the UK, we waste 4.5 million tonnes of food at home each year. And the average family could save £730 a year or just over £60 a month just by reducing their food waste. And obviously that is important a lot at the minute. I think everyone needs to do that. So the idea for a surplus food project came over 3 years ago as a reaction to this. So we started out as LCBC Community Pantry, but recently changed the name to LCBC Eco Market to reflect the environmental nature of the initiative. So we offer this perfectly edible food to the community, not only helping to reduce food waste, but as we only ask for a low service contribution, this helps keep more pennies in the pocket of those accessing it. And we also give guidance on cooking the foods like a traditional greengrocer. If we get unusual types or lots of one type of food, I will write up a recipe, and that is available for people to take away and hopefully inspire others to give it a try. So as well as sharing foods in our food market, we distribute bakery foods via a sharing shelf. The image what you see there is our new chalk wall in our new building, which has some of the facts. We've taken over the whole of a wall to write all of that. So hopefully people will stop and think whilst they're there too. And on our website, we've got a bit of information about how much food we collect, and that gets calculated out how many carbon emissions we saved as well. That gets updated regularly. This is another kind of aspect. This is a crisp packer project. I believe there's one just over the road today. So one of our regular volunteers, Di Farrar, she is involved in that. So we act as a collection point for crisp packets, which is a waste product. And that goes on. She makes them for people facing homelessness and gets repurposed in that way. And we also do kind of workshops that we're going to be working with Di too. So that's the crisp packer project, what we were saying. Now, she also goes into schools and things as well, but as I say, you'll probably find out a little bit more about it over the road in the Baptist church as well. So as you can see, as they take about 80 years to decompose, repurposing these not only creates them with a social purpose, and it provides comfort for those facing homelessness, but also reduces these in landfill. So as we were saying before, as well as sharing food in the eco-market, we distribute bakery foods via a sharing shelf with a local nursery, as well as in a local area. And we can also use some of these food in workshops and other projects. So any food no longer fit for human consumption is shared with smallholders and birds, who are birds and animals that are not in the food chain. That is quite important. So we're repurposing it. And another positive thing, any foods not fit for any kind of a consumption are sent off to anaerobic digestion to produce green energy or provide farmers with premium fertiliser. So we have next to no waste. So we believe all food has value, the resources, fertilisers and water used to produce it, time spent nurturing it, the processing, transportation and storage needed to get it to your plate all come with their own impact on the environment and doesn't come for free. So a question people might ask, how does food waste affect the environment? Now, when food waste goes to landfill, which is where the vast majority of it ends up, it decomposes without access to oxygen, unlike composting, and that creates methane. Methane is 23 times more deadly than carbon dioxide, and both of these greenhouse gases trap heat in the atmosphere, which is what we know as global warming. So next picture, how does global warming affect the planet? I'll not go through all of the little points because I think everyone is quite aware of them, but 1 in 6 species are at risk of extinction because of climate change. Global warming stresses the ecosystems through temperature rises and water shortages. We've got increased ocean temperatures, that's melting glaciers and ice caps. We've got more extreme weather. The oceans have absorbed more of the extra heat and carbon dioxide so far, so the seas are more acidic, which threatens sea life. But we've got increased and severe and frequent heat waves in certain parts of the country, leading to death of many. So when looking at all the evidence, there are many factors that contribute to climate change, but human behaviour is recognised as a main cause. We're the ones who burn fossil fuels, we breed livestock on a mass scale and clear trees, and this adds enormous amounts of greenhouse gases to those naturally occurring in the atmosphere, and that increases the greenhouse effect and global warming. So food waste in itself contributes between 6 to 10% of greenhouse gases, which although seems a small amount, it's something we can all do to help create changes. And we do that through not only our eco-market, but we incorporate part of that into our cooker workshops as well, especially with children, because they're the next generation who our behaviours are going to change and check as well. But that is the end of the show, but I am placed in there if anyone wants to ask me any questions. There's lots of things and lots of things that we can all do to kind of make little changes. And I think as a collective of all the community organisations here, we can all do our little bit. But thank you.